Exactly 2 weeks from tonight, Canadians will decide who to invite or invite back to this place. For 27 days, the 20 main party leaders have been traveling the country, making 20 pitches and promises. Tonight, they will defend and deconstruct their ideas live. Liberal leader Justin, Conservative leader Andrew Jourgenary, NDP's Jagmeet Singh, Elizabeth May of the Green Party, Bloc Québécois, and their goal to convince you to give their party your vote. This is the debate.
Welcome to the 2019 Leaders Debate, and I am CTV News. Our audience is made up. One note, however, we have asked them to hold back their applause throughout the debate so we can keep things moving. Our first theme is leadership in Canada and the world, and our first question is from Reagan Lee, right here in the audience. Reagan. It's Reagan.
Good evening, leaders. Sorry. Many Canadians have felt the...
Thank you, Reagan, for being here tonight, and thank you all for joining us in this important moment to talk about the future of our country and compare and contrast the various plans that we have.
Mr. Trudeau, thank you for that. Mr. Bernier, your opportunity to respond.
Thank you. We are the People's Party, and we put Canada first. The other leaders on this stage are globalists. Actually, we are the only party.
Mr. Bernier, thank you. The next opportunity for Mr. Singh to respond.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you very much, Regan, for your question. I know it's tough to ask questions in front of a big crowd, so thanks for doing that. And thanks to
Mr. Singh, thank you. Mr. Scheer, your opportunity to respond.
Well, thank you very much. And of course, I will always stand up for Canada and Canadians' interests and promote free trade and defend our interests all around the world. But Justin Trudeau, blackface, because the fact of the matter is he's always wearing a mask. He puts on Justin Trudeau mask. Mr. Trudeau, you are a phone and you do not deserve to govern this country.
There will be an opportunity later during the open debate to defend each other. First of all, Ms. May, if you'd like to answer Regan's question.
I would actually like to answer Reagan's question in contrast to what we just heard.
Ms. May, thank you. Again, the question, how would you as Prime Minister protect Canadian interests and values on this changing world stage? Mr. Blanchet.
Prime Minister is a bit unlikely if you have only tiny biceps.
Mr. Blanchet, thank you for that. Continuing with our theme, leadership in Canada and the world, it's now my opportunity to ask a question on behalf of Canadians, again, to a leader chosen by a random draw. So this question is for People's Party leader Maxime Bernier. Every other leader will then have the opportunity to debate him. But Mr. Bernier, you like to tweet, so let me read some of your tweets back to you. You called diversity in Canada a cult and extreme multiculturalism. You've used the words ghetto and tribes to describe newcomers whom you say bring distrust and potential violence. On Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old climate change activist, you've called her, quote, clearly mentally unstable. Are these the words of someone with the character and integrity to lead all Canadians and represent us on the world stage?
I love this country, and I'm the only leader on this stage.
We're definitely going to have a lively debate tonight because now it is Mr. Singh's opportunity to debate Mr. Bernier on that very question, the temperament required for a good leader.
I mean, Mr. Bernier, after hearing what was just said, you could have just said, hey, man, I messed up. because those are pretty horrible tweets that you made. The way to build the future is to help out the
Canadians
people
with
that
your
need help.
policies.
It
You
means you
won't
got
be
to
able
stand
to
up
help
for the folks
Canadians
that
with
need
your
help.
socialist policies.
It
will hurt everybody.
It's not going to
It
help
will
anybody.
hurt everybody. It's not
What
the
you're
way
gonna
to
do is
build
not gonna help anybody.
wealth and growth in this country. You must believe in people. You must give back their
You're
money
not
in their
someone
own
that believes in
pockets.
people. What you're
I
saying
just-
is not helpful.
I'm just going to remind everyone this is a debate, and the viewers do have a difficult time even hearing anything if you're talking over each other. So this is a portion where the leaders can debate Mr. Bernier, and it is now the opportunity of Mr. Scheer to debate Mr. Bernier on the question of leadership.
People to
freedom of
come to
speech.
share our values, our Canadian values.
but, you know,
equality
this-
before the law,
this-
equality between men and
But
women,
you-
the
this,
separation
Mr.
of
Bernier-
faith.
Now we're going to hear from Ms. May and Mr. Bernier on the same question.
Anything, I'd have to
Elizabeth.
put my head in my hands because it
Elizabeth,
was so horrific. But
I appreciate you, but you know, I don't share your policies.
I knew
don't
that.
share your socialist policies because, you know, we won't be able to create any wealth with your policies. You have the same kind of policies than socialist countries like Venezuela.
Thank you, Ms. May. Now it is Mr. Blanchette's opportunity to debate with Mr. Bernier.
How many seconds will you leave me before you jump in? Somebody invoking the truth should not be somebody denying climate change. And the use of socialism seems to come a little bit too easy.
I don't deny climate
Oh,
change.
you
I
made
don't-
10 seconds.
Okay, and the final debate on the subject goes to Mr. Trudeau, to Mr. Bernier. Again, the temperament required for a good leader.
I think it's important to recognize that we're in a world right now where these discussions, this polarization, this fear of the other has become easy currency for politicians who do want to strike up uncertainty in people's hearts and lift those anxieties and try to get people to vote against things. Unfortunately, Mr. Bernier on this stage is playing that role of trying to make people more fearful about the migrations that are happening in the world and the opportunities around globalization and our ability to continue to redefine every single day what it is to be Canadian, what it means to be Canadian. And yes, it will evolve. It will transform itself as we take leadership, as we move forward.
Okay, and on that, we want to hear from another Canadian tonight. There are obviously so many layers to the issue of leadership. So this question is coming from Susan Fernando, who asks her question from Calgary. Again.
Hi, I'm Susan Fernando in Calgary.
Thank you. I want to thank Susan for the question. Really, she's touched on a lot of concerns that Canadians have. Things are getting harder than ever before.